Hello and welcome to the Logarithms and Exponent Applications Part 2 video. In our Part 1 video, we went over 3 different types of equations and situations you might come across. In this video, we're going to deal when things are compounding continuously, as opposed to a certain number of times per year, as well as half-lives. So let's get started. So you can see here, Part 3, we have compounding continuously. We have A is equal to P times E to the power of RT. Now remember, E is just a number. I explained a week or two ago that E was like if you take 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You can think of it as if our time increments are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So instead of compounding monthly, maybe, our increments of time are getting smaller. So we're getting towards daily, hourly, per minute, per second. And so as those times get smaller, they start to level off to a specific number, being E, or about 2.71. So that's where this comes from. And remember that E is just a number. So when we identify each part of our equation, where A is our end amount, P is our starting amount or our principal amount, R is our rate, and T is our time, E is just E. It's just the number, so we don't have to define it. I actually think you're going to like this better than some of the other equations because these tend to go a little bit faster. So let's take a look at problems 20 and 21. So let's see. The Arctic Bank offers a 5 CD that pays 3.8% interest compounded continuously. Chloe deposits $5,931. Okay, so far we have our rate. It says specifically that we're compounding continuously, so we know we're going to use this equation. And we have our start amount of $5,931. Now, question 20 specifically asks, how much will Chloe's account be worth in 5 years? So that is our time. So let's set up our equation. So right now we're going to have our end amount is equal to our start value of 5,931 times E to the power of our rate in decimal form, or 0.038, times T. So if I plug this in with my time of 5 years, we can say that A of 5 is equal to 5,931 times E to the 0.038 times 5. Now, once I simplify my exponent, I multiply my rate by my time, I get 5,931 times E to the power of 0.19. So I'll plug this into my calculator all at once, and whoops, we get a nice value of $7,172.05. Again, normally we'll do sentences for this, but for right now I'm just going to make sure I have the proper units. That's all we have to do going forwards, but what about if we're solving for time, meaning that we have to use logarithms? Let's take a look at problem number 21. So it's still the same type of situation. We still have the same rate. We know it's compounded continuously and the same start value. But now it says how many years, so we're looking for the time, would it take for Chloe to have $6,500? So there's a hint there that says use logs because we're always going to do that whenever we're solving for time. But now we know our end amount. So when we write up our equation, we'll have 6,500 is equal to 5,931 times E to the power of 0.038 times T. So now we have to solve for T. We're first going to start by dividing both sides by that 5,931. I'm going to keep this as an exact fraction. You can put this into decimal form. Just write it out to the 4th decimal place and make sure you keep the super long decimal in your calculator. This will give us 6,500 divided by 5,931 is equal to E to the power of 0.038t. Or we have a base, an exponent, and an answer. So when I rearrange this, you can use logs. However, I know that E is the base of a natural log. So I'm going to write this as the natural log base E of our fraction 6,500 divided by 5,931 is equal to 0.038t. Now, in our previous problems, we'd have to use our change in base formula, but since e is already the base of a natural log, we don't have to do that. Our calculators can already figure this out. We don't even have to write that e. So our last and next step is just to divide both sides by 0.038, and we get that the natural log of 6,500 divided by 5,931 divided by 0.038 is equal to t. Or, once we plug that into our calculator, we get that t is about 2.4108 years. And I'm rounding to the 4th decimal place here because we're dealing with time, but for problem 20, I just rounded to the 2nd decimal place because we're dealing with money. But this is how you deal with something that is compounding continuously. Our very last equation involves half-lives. That's in the part 4. So if we move this down, I'm leaving you some problems to do for the Go formative, we have here a half-life. This one I also like because the base here, no matter what, is 1/2 because it's a half-life. You may have the half-life of a certain chemical or of an element, and just saying how long does this take to reduce. So if we take a look at the equation here, we have that A is again our end amount, P is our start amount, or our principal value. 1/2 is always going to be 1/2. T is our time, and then H, this is a new one, this is the actual half-life. Pardon me, not half-time, there we go. That's the actual half-life. So in each story problem, it'll specify this is the half-life of this chemical element, whatever we're using. So let's take a look at problems 25 and 27. So 25 says a particular radioactive chemical loses half of its radioactivity every 3 years. So this means this is the half-life. If there is currently 100 grams of the chemical on the ground, how much will there be in 24 years? So it looks like we have the half-life, our starting amount, and this will be our time. So when we set up the equation, we're going to have A is equal to 100 times 1/2, it's always going to be 1/2, to the power of t divided by 3. Well, we know for us, t is 24 years. So A of 24 is going to be 100 times 1/2 to the power of 24 divided by 3. Or if we were to simplify that, we would have 100 times 1/2 to the power of 8. Or if you plug this into our calculator, it's a bit longer than 4 decimal places, but I'm going to list the whole thing just because we kind of can. 0.390625. So again, we would normally have a sentence, but our final answer is 0.390625 grams. So make sure you're using the proper units. But what if we were solving for time, or again, using our logarithms? Well, let's take a look at problem number 27. So how long does it take a 100-gram sample, where's my highlighter? Take a 100-gram sample of AS81 to decay to 6.25 grams. And it lets us know that AS81 has a half-life of 33 seconds. So we have here, we have our start amount, we have our end amount, and we have that half-life. So what we're really looking for here is our time. So we are going to have 6.25 is equal to 100 times 1/2 to the power of t divided by 33, so in those seconds. So we're looking for our time. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by dividing both sides by 100, so that we have 0.0625 is equal to 1/2 times t divided by 33. You can put parentheses around it if you want. But now I'm like, okay, we have a base, an exponent, and an answer. You'll notice that we use this rearrangement a lot when we're finding time for story problems. But this ultimately is going to give us log base 1/2, or you can also use 0.5, of 0.0625 is equal to t over 33. And unlike our compounding continuously problems, we will have to use our change in base formula. So we end up with log 0.0625 over log of 1/2 is equal to t divided by 33. Now to get t by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by 33, because if we're multiplying and dividing by 33 on our right side, that cancels out. And we'll be left with 33 times log of 0.0625 divided by log of 1/2 is equal to t. And once we plug that into our calculator, we get that t is 132 seconds exactly. So we've done a few problems with each of our different types of equations. Make sure to go back and watch these videos. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in class.